You're watching ITV News Central. Still to come on the programme. Always look on the bright side of life. The First World War soldiers' cartoons, which proved a hit with the troops.
And with temperatures set to peak tomorrow, find out just how hot it's going to get in the West Midlands in a few minutes' time.
Now, scientists believe they've finally been able to piece together how Richard III died at the Battle of Bosworth. He was, of course, found centuries later under a car park in Leicester.
Well, new research from the University of Leicester studied the monarch's war wounds, and they found he suffered blows to the head with a medieval weapon and he wasn't wearing his helmet. Rajiv Popat reports.
He was the last English king to die fighting. But how was Richard III killed? Scientists say they now have the answer. They've been studying his remains ever since his skeleton was found under a car park in Leicester 2 years ago. The final violent moments of his life have been pieced together.
What we've got is the very first detailed account of all of the injuries that were sustained to Richard. So we found a total of 11 injuries. 9 of those were to his skull and 2 of those were to other parts of his body. So there was 1 on the rib and 1 to the pelvis.
Shakespeare depicted King Richard III as a hunchbacked, monstrous character.
Which done, God's take King Edward to his mercy and leave the world for me.
A number of A-list stars have played the monarch, including Al Pacino.
I set my life upon a cast. I'll stand the hazard of the die. There be 6 Richmonds in the field.
But did he really have a limp? Experts say the latest evidence only deals with the science.
The contemporary accounts of the battle are that Richard fought bravely, that he fought in a manly way. We know for the injuries to the skull that his helmet must have either been lost or removed by that point, and whether it was removed by Richard himself or whether it was forcibly removed, we can't tell. But we know that his helmet must have been removed at that stage.
Modern forensic science and engineering techniques were used to establish what happened at the Battle of Bosworth. Tool marks on bones were analysed to identify the medieval weapons used.
So what was it like for you to be involved with something of this magnitude? It's not every day you get to work on a former king.
When I first started working on the project, I did it very dispassionately, as you would any case that walked in through the door. It was very much a scientific project. As we got nearer to positively identifying it was the bones of Richard III, at that point it became much more exciting, and I think I realised the significance of having looked at the skull of a 500-year-old king.
There's no doubt the last Plantagenet King of England was controversial in life and death. After much debate about whether he should be laid to rest in Leicester or York, his remains will finally be reinterred at Leicester Cathedral in March. Rajiv Popat, ITV News.
Fascinating, isn't it? The more we find out about him.
It's a story that just keeps giving.
Yeah, we said that, yes. It certainly is. Now, though, it is time for a quick look at last night's football. And we start at the Valley because it was a story of 2 corners. Andre Biki gave Charlton the lead with a volley past Carl Ekime. And there was a similar move for Wolves' equaliser, although this time it was a Danny Bath header from James Henry's corner. Wolves are unbeaten in 5. Meanwhile, Birmingham City haven't won in 6 games. Goals from Stevie May and Jeremy Hellen gave Sheffield Wednesday victory in a match City had dominated.
Well, it was a pretty disappointing night all round, really. In League One, all our teams lost, with Port Vale conceding 3 and Walsall 4. Shrewsbury were the only local side to win. Jermaine Granderson scored the only goal of the game against Carlisle. Burton suffered their first defeat of the season away at Wimbledon, and those games, of course, all in League Two.
A group of athletes from the West Midlands is in action this week at the Special Olympics European Games. They've travelled to Antwerp in Belgium from as far as Herefordshire, Worcestershire, Warwickshire and Wolverhampton.
Yes, they're representing Team GB in what's become a major sporting event for those with learning disabilities. Our reporter Lauren Hall has joined them.
The opening ceremony, a celebration of sport and a celebration of those taking part in it here at the Special Olympics European Games. Thousands of people turned out to welcome athletes from more than 50 countries. Among them, Team GB, proudly parading around the stadium, starting as they mean to go on. After the opening ceremony, our athletes are preparing to put on a show of their own as they take centre stage at the European Games. And some are hoping they may even end up in the #1 spot and bring home a gold medal. There are high hopes in the athletics, especially for Fleur O'Donoghue from Nuneaton in Warwickshire, who got off to a good start.
This afternoon for my 200 metres, I came third and got a PB, personal best, so I'm really pleased with it.
Something to be really proud of.
Yeah.
Were you expecting to do that well?
No.
So it's an added bonus.
Yeah.
The athletics coach hopes Fleur and the rest of the team will enjoy some medal success.
I'd like them all to go home with at least one medal. That's what I always hope for anyway. So
fingers crossed.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. I'm sure they can do it.
Team GB is competing in a number of sports this week here in the host city of Antwerp in Belgium. The Special Olympics is for those with learning disabilities. It's gradually gaining more recognition in the world of sport, but is still eclipsed by the Olympics and Paralympics.
Frustration is that the two other parts of our family and the Olympic family, they are government funded. Obviously the elite part of the sporting fraternity, but you know, our athletes train as hard as what the Olympic and the Paralympic athletes do, and I think we should be recognised because our athletes train hard, if not maybe sometimes harder.
Well, now they've got the medals to prove it. Just this afternoon, Fleur has picked up a gold in the 100 metres. And the gold rush has also hit some of our other athletes, including Emma Hunt from Bushbury in Wolverhampton and Geoffrey Jarvis from Leicestershire, who secured victory in the table tennis mixed doubles. Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thanks.
How does it feel? And Geoffrey, I know you've been really excited about this.
Yes.
So how does it feel to be standing here with a gold medal?
It's like you can't believe it. It's like it's not really real.
Well, it is. In fact, Team GB's now won gold, silver and bronze medals across a wide range of sports, and there may even be a few more by the end of the week. But for our athletes, the biggest reward of all is being here and being part of Great Britain's Special Olympics team. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
They're all doing very well.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it, to see that early success.
I've been lucky enough to be out and cover the Special Olympics before. It's a superb event, and it's good to see them doing so well. And if you want to see more about it, the story of our athlete who we saw there, Fleur O'Donoghue from Nuneaton, will also be featured in this week's episode of the Tonight programme, and that's coming up tomorrow at 7:30 here on ITV.